Did you hear that? All right, Lloyd and I just got back from the field a couple days ago. We took a weekend out to the happy place. Had fun. Eventful in different ways. I will be putting those videos up probably within this week sometime. Get them all together and add some stuff. But in the meantime, I got some pictures from Happy and then some pictures from when I was out there, and I kind of want to give everybody an idea of where everything happened. These pictures gives you a really good idea of how long we saw what I believe to be a large male Sasquatch. The other one, the first one that me and Joe saw, we've always called it the juvenile just because it was tall and skinny and kind of gangly. For all I know, it was a female. Just to me, it kind of looked like a teenager. But, you know, to this day, it kind of blows me away that it just didn't look like what I expected it to. I could not tell by looking at its face what sex it was. Especially at that size. I mean, it was no bigger than me. It was longer in the limbs and like skinnier, but it was about my height. And it was so black that I couldn't see any, sexual organs. But the second one, the large one that ran across on all fours, with these pictures, you really get a really good idea how long we saw it for. So first I'm going to go back through the first night we were out there, where everything was located, where we were at when everything happened, and then go to the day of the sighting. So anybody who's followed us for a while, you've heard me talk about the pipeline over and over again, and probably seen me draw pictures of it. But here's actual pictures of it. Now, these are actually from the day of the sighting, but what we're going to do is we're going to start with the very first night we were out there. Our vehicles were pretty much lined up exactly the same. That's my vehicle, my Bronco. Now, what happened on the first night is we were all, let's see here, let's do some doodling. The fire is around right here, and me and Happy and Scott were hanging around the fire, and a rock comes from this wood line and hits my vehicle. And then we also get the recordings of the vocalizations that are over here. So that's the very first night. All right, so on our third trip out, that was the afternoon of the sightings. You can see our vehicles down there in the position. Now, location-wise, this down here, Happy's standing pretty much at the creek taking this picture. Me and Captain Joe we walked across the field, went in over here, and it's probably from the vehicles maybe 100 yards in that wood line is where him and I both had our sightings. Mine first, then Joe's. We call Scott, tell him what we saw, and we tell him we think it's headed your direction, that it's actually leading us back towards camp. Well, he gets in the back of his vehicle, back of his truck. He stands up there with binoculars. And after a few minutes, he sees the Sasquatch walk out on all fours, doing the spider crawl, do a button hook, and then go back in the wood line. And then about 10 yards away, me and Captain Joe come walking out. We had no idea it was that close to us. So all three of us have seen the same Sasquatch. We all go back to our little camping area, call Happy, tell him what happened. We're just ecstatic. We're talking about everything, replaying it in our heads and going over the details and what we saw and everything. And then Scott yells, "There's another one." And the larger, what I believe to be male Sasquatch, comes running out across the field, hits this wood line, and goes this direction. And I'm going to go to a better picture to kind of show you when it comes to where the creek is and everything. You'll be able to tell where he went in. All right, so this is from our last trip out there. I parked up here next to the deer stand. So if you're looking back towards where we were about right here where our fire was. So the Sasquatch would have ran across right about here on all fours, hit that wood line, turned this direction, and when it got to the creek, it went into that direction, into that wood line. Now that's the creek right there. So that's how good of a look we got of the one on all fours. There's no denying what it was. It was probably running about as fast as a deer in a very weird way. I've described it before. It's almost like watching Frogger, the video game. It's almost like it was hopping. But it's probably, seeing that one extremely close from 50 feet away was amazing. And I didn't think it could get any better. But to stand there and watch the big one run across that field on all fours, standing there with Scott and Captain Joe, it's just kind of hard to beat. It was an amazing thing to watch, and it's super surreal. Something I never actually thought I would witness in person.